Yes, we're moving on to the second resource person, Dr. Aloysius Albert, Assistant Professor of English and Dean of Student at St. Xavier's College, Palankote. Formerly, he served as the HOD of English at Anandur College, Madurai. He has 8 years of teaching experience and published more than 32 research articles in the national and international journals and edited 6 books and organized 3 national seminars. He specialized in African literature and interested in exploring ancient wisdom and its relevance to the modern world. He has received Lavender Award in 2021 for his outstanding contribution to resource sharing, teaching, and research. We feel so delightful to invite Dr. Aloysius Albert to this scenario. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So share the screen. Yes, I thank Suresh Babu sir for his excellent presentation on research techniques. He has also shared most of the things that I'm going to share. I think he has lightened my talk. We have been hearing about research techniques, writings. I think this is the second and third time that Literary Club is organizing this. And it's very happy that continuously we have been doing some help so that the research grows in India, especially in our area. And therefore, I thought of just sharing with you some skills and techniques in research writing. As Sir has already said, yes, the problem that lies today is that we don't have an opportunity or funding that we can do it, okay, research in an efficient manner, and everybody needs it, yes. Otherwise, we are just doing research for the sake of doing research. Okay, it's for completion of a degree, something like that. So I thought of just sharing with you some of my experience or the learning that I have made in my life, the skills and techniques, okay, may be helpful to you, okay. Such an international workshop that we organize, it surely, I think, yesterday and today might have provided you with a body of knowledge or facilitated practical self-learning of the basis of research. Or it has been, it has assisted you in understanding research process, research design, and I'm sure that it has procured with the tools and skills necessary to do the research. So research, the word research, is a big concept. Okay, the moment you enter inside, you know how difficult it is. Okay, it's not as we think of it. The basic question that we ask today, is research difficult? Why research is hard and what to do about it? You can't just leave it as you have found it. Like Ambedkar says, don't leave it as you have found it. We have to do something. Why it becomes very difficult, whether you're doing BA, MA, or PhD, or any other level that we do research, why it becomes so difficult for us? Okay, we break our head. Why such things happen today? Therefore, is research difficult? You need to answer this question, okay, based on. So that's what the word research. So the research, as far my experience goes, or the sharing of my friends, is a terror to the minds. Okay, it's not only educators, also the students and scholars. Terror to the minds. The moment we hear about the research, oh no, I go to my MA class and say, oh, research methodology. Oh, they say, it automatically, research means something very difficult. You need to do a lot of things. Yes, of course, you need to do a lot of things. It becomes a terror to the mind. Okay, so this is actually the wrong notion of the word research. Okay, that is the reason the moment you don't understand a word research in a proper way, of course, it becomes a terror to the mind. Okay, that's what the picture says. Yes, it becomes a terror. Okay, you break your head. Not only, I just see not only students and scholars, but even the educators. Okay, so it's not only in arts and humanities, even social, other science subjects, everyone, it feels reluctant to do research. And that's because of the wrong notion the word has been attributed to. Actually, it means finding out something new. Okay, that becomes an exploration. Okay, something new. Okay. Conducting a research is too complicated, too painstaking, and too time consuming. Yeah, sure. Okay, but we need to enter inside so that we feel the realm of it. Okay, without eating a fruit, we say, oh, the taste is so good, we can't say it unless you relish it. Okay, unless you enter inside it and then go inside and do all kinds of face problems, and then finally you enjoy. Oh, this is what research is all about. The product. Okay, the product, when it comes out, you feel that is actually the research. But many of us, or many of the scholars, many of the students, don't even enter inside, and before entering itself, they say, oh, this is something, it's very painstaking, it's time consuming, it's not possible for me to do. The easy way is Control C and Control V. And that's why everyone feels that the standard is going down in the field of research, because we we cut and paste. Okay, so then originality. Where is the originality? That's why they always differentiate between Indian students and the foreigners. Our research work go to foreign evaluations. Okay, it's just because we still feel the originality is missing. So how many of us believe the research can offer a viable approach for the improvement of life and the world at large? And this is the basic. Any research has to help the improvement of one's life, also the world around us. Okay, so we have to look at the phenomenon again and again from different dimensions. Okay, so looking at a dimension, looking at a phenomenon, as Sir has already said, problems, people, problems, and phenomena, it has to look from different point of view. Okay, so then automatically a question comes, research question comes, research problem is created, and then your research design has been made, and then you choose a topic, and then slowly it goes on. So looking at a phenomenon again and again from a different angle, different dimensions will create a research. Okay, but if you look at the same way and we don't even find it. Okay, two roads diverged in an yellow wood. I took the one less traveled by. That has made all the differences. Yes, we need to take the less traveled road. And then finally you find, yes, wow, that road is I took the one less traveled. That has made all the difference. And the end of this one, you say, really that makes a difference. So looking at a phenomenon from different angles, different dimensions make research possible. So this is what actually I find in scholars and students. Of course, there is not, I don't say lack, but we need to improve upon this. Okay, looking at the dimensions, looking at a problem, looking at a text, looking at even a phrase from different angles. Okay, I find a person writing a thesis on one word, taking one word and writing about 250 pages. Yeah, that's possible. Okay, because I'm making it, looking at a phenomenon from different angles. Okay, so this is actually research. So we need to remove this wrong concept called research is something difficult. Of course, yes, difficult because of it takes a lot of funding. Okay, it's really, we need to work, but more than that, we need time. We need to spend a lot of time. Okay, it's painful at the same time. We need to spend time. Okay, look at this. For example, I just give you 3 classical, modern, and postmodern era. Okay, there was in classical period, there was man versus nature. Okay, as slowly it is converted to man as versus man, and then also they find man versus God. Okay, so it's a classical way of looking at it. What happened in the modern? Man versus nature has become man versus society. Okay, and then man versus self. Okay. Also, you find man versus no God. Okay. In modern times, yes. Then you find in postmodern era, so we have postmodern, of course, the technology has improved. So man versus technology. So man versus reality. They started facing the reality. And then man versus author. Every era, that's a change that takes place. So when one looks at it, we look at from different point of view. Yes, classical, modern, and postmodern, even postmodern that we live today, as different waves, different aspects to offer to us. So looking at a problem, looking at the people, looking at the phenomenon from different angle, and research automatically is created. So therefore, research is actually the enhancing of existing fund of knowledge. So we have a knowledge. We have so much of course, after technology advancement, we have in our fingertips every knowledge that we have. You can just go Google on it, and then you can find it. So enhancing the existing fund of knowledge, we need to enhance. We have already knowledge, we need to enhance. So what actually the word is used today is new frontiers. Okay. So exploring new frontiers that challenge the human quest. So I have a quest. Okay. Naturally, all human beings have a quest. Now what happens is this quest has to lead to a new frontier. Therefore, this new frontier enriches a knowledge ecosystem. So it's not only ecosystem that exists in the nature, but also knowledge ecosystem that creates around us, and that's not only for helpful for the self, at the same time helpful for the society around me. So it can be various levels that you can see. Okay. Therefore, they say, as Sir has already pointed out, E's. There are 3 E's of research. Okay. We can just do it exploratory research. That means we discover. We don't invent, we discover. As I said, we have already existing knowledge. Fund of knowledge is there. We need to discover, or we need to uncover or recover. Okay. This becomes an exploratory. Okay. Whereas second one is expressive. Okay. Expressive means we have something that our life or the readings that we already have recount or recollect or recap. This becomes an expressive. Okay. Or third one is explanatory, where we have testing of theories or related informations, and then you started explaining. So these 3 aspects, we are very clear about it. Research becomes very easy. Okay. So whether you want to do exploratory study, expressive, or explanatory study, okay, we call it descriptive. Okay. So when it comes to research diversities, it has a complex milieu. Okay. Of course, I'm just talking from the point of view of arts and humanities. Also, you find others. Okay, we find research diversities. So first, look at for social. If you are looking for social, there are gender, class, caste, religion, all kinds of things that comes in. When you talk about language, linguistics, there are science systems, regional, economical, locational, infrastructural, rich, moderate, poor, or aspirational. Any research you take, it comes under one. So we have diversity. Research diversity. It's not that one focus. We have diversity, but it becomes complex milieu. So therefore, we need to narrow down, as you said, research problem, research questions. Okay, we need to narrow down to one aspect. You can't take. I'll give you an example of this. Okay. So we are actually in the world of research. Okay, we live in a 3 world. Okay. Remember this. We live in a 3 world. Number 1 is world behind the text. Okay. Or if you take other aspects of commerce or science subjects other than arts and humanities, okay, anything, a situation, okay, that the situation that leads to a particular framing of a hypothesis. There is a world behind. Okay. So world behind, of course, you're talking about a text, the point of view of literature. You say what of the text, how of the text, the background in which the particular text has been written, or the literary age, or situating the author in the context. That becomes actually the world behind the text. Or take any situation. Suppose someone writes about technological impact of the consumers, or the buyers, or their behaviors. Okay, I talk in commerce. Okay, you take the situation that led to this technological impact. What has already the study has been done, literature review. Okay, and this is what actually the world of the writer. Okay, so what went before us that has made us to think or frame question of this problem. World behind the text. Okay, so what of the text and how of the text. Come to second, world in the text. So we are actually talking about 3 world behind the text, and there is also world in the text. The situation. Okay, you are actually having a background of the situation. Now you are coming to the situation. That means the textual analysis you are taking into arts and humanities. Textual analysis. Enter into the world of the text. Okay. The background is in which the text has been written. So the background is very important. Then we are coming to the next world in the text. That means we are actually deeper reading of the text. Okay. Or you call deconstructions on all kinds of things. You can use this. Okay. Deeper reading of the text based on the research topic and questions you have framed using the background information. Already much study has been done. Okay, so now what you are actually you're correlated and then brought to a research topic and questions. Now you're entering into the text. This is actually world of the text. So world of the writer, world of the text. Now, when it comes to third one, the third world is world beyond the text. Okay, this is actually called interpretive text. Okay, where in other subjects you call it an analysis or interpreted analysis, or you call testing the hypothesis. Okay, whereas in arts and humanities, yeah, what do you want to contribute to the world? So world beyond the text. Okay, and this is called a reader response. Okay, now this becomes very important. This actually, the third world becomes actually a new frontier. Okay, first one is already the background information, and secondly we have analyzed the text that is there already. Okay, we analyze text completely. Now after analysis, what happens? So what is the new knowledge or new frontiers that we want to create? That becomes actually the newness that we give to the world. So this third stage, world beyond the text. Okay, when a reader writes, when a reader reads, then he interprets. Okay, so this becomes world of the reader. So look at these three world of the writer, world of the text, and world of the reader. Okay, so all this actually, it becomes a basis for a research. Okay. So now the third stage, world beyond the text, becomes an interpreted analysis, and it becomes a new frontier, new knowledge. This actually adds to the existing fund of knowledge. If someone else comes afterwards and then he reads and he has got something to take and then go to the another level of knowledge. So this is an extension that takes place in each moment or each time when a writer writes. It's not something, as he said, when a book is written, it no more belongs to the writer, it belongs to the reader, because the reader has to interpret, okay, and give a new knowledge. Okay, so we are all actually readers. Something has been written and we read and we interpret and then give it new knowledge, so that the next one comes and takes this new knowledge and make it as something new. So it goes on. This becomes actually a real research. It's not something what is already existing there. We take, we read, and then we produce the same thing again and again, and we don't produce any new knowledge. So this is very interesting. Another aspect that I find is we are all worried about products. Okay, when you go to European countries or other countries, a product can have maximum of 3 mistakes. Okay, maximum we can commit a product. Okay, so therefore maximum, okay, minimum, maximum of 3 mistakes can be there in a product. Okay, why? Because the purpose has to be very, very important. When you follow the purpose and process, you need not worry about the product. Okay, now most of the time our research, we are worried about the result rather than the process. Okay, we are worried about the product, how it's going to be. I have tried 250 pages of my research. That is a product. Okay, so you are worried about the product, how it's going to be, rather than the process that is involved. Okay, so I'm just talking to you about the purpose, process, and product, as already Sir has very clearly explained about the problem, people, problem, and phenomenon. Likewise, you find 3 P's, very important research: the purpose and the process and the product. Product automatically comes when the purpose and process are actually in line with this text, in line with the research. When you're talking about purpose, what are you looking for? Okay, what's the purpose? If you don't have any purpose, and it's no use to continue the research if you don't have any purpose. Okay, you're not simply writing without any purpose. The purpose is actually inform action, contextualize, and create a new frontiers, new knowledge. Okay, that's the purpose. I want to create a new knowledge. Okay, and how does the purpose serve? So all these questions, as you say, research questions you have, these questions you need to ask at the beginning. What are you looking for? Automatically your questions answered. Okay, and then how does the purpose serve me and the society or the surrounding? And thirdly, why do I do? Okay, what's the purpose? Why? So the question comes, why? Is it my personal interest or a forced interest? Most of the time it's a forced interest because of the academic degree that we have. In India, this becomes very prominent that we have most of the time we have forced interest. Okay, it's nothing to do with the personal interest. Whereas you go to European other countries, and mostly they do with the personal interest. And secondly, is it because of an academic requirement that I do research, or discovery of relationship? Okay, so research on vocabulary teaching, okay, or experimental. Okay, I give an example. Someone has done research on vocabulary teaching. Okay, you've done a research, PhD research, vocabulary teaching for a MA English students. Okay, vocabulary teaching to an MA English student. Okay, so the project was over, and then during the Viva, the examiner asked a question. Vocabulary teaching for the MA students. Okay, what is the necessary of choosing a particular MA students for the testing of this vocabulary? Because you need to say English plus MA, it is assumed that they know English. Okay, and most of the vocabularies, of course, they might have used it. What is the necessity of taking that particular target group as MA English for testing your vocabulary? It becomes actually conflicting issues. So the examiner was very, very strict in this, saying, how can you do an experimental research on vocabulary testing for the MA students of English? So that's actually contradictory. Therefore, when you don't know what the purpose of the research, it would have been done for other, suppose, or BCom or other students, it would have been very valuable. But for an English student doing, it becomes very difficult. Therefore, choosing a purpose is very, very important. Okay, and what is the purpose? Okay. Secondly, the purpose of research you are talking about, of course, yes, to add to the existing body. We have already existing body of knowledge. We are adding something. There's a purpose. Okay. So find out what happens, to develop deeper understanding, to contribute people's well-being or personal growth, or disapprove a theory or test. Of course, we are very poor in this. To come up with a better solution, okay, or to understand another person's point of view. So this is actually the purpose. Someone writes another person's point of view. It's not my own point of view, but others also have points of view. So therefore, the purpose of research is very important. Secondly, when you're talking about 3 P's, process. This is very important. Technique 1, I say process. Okay, I always quote the example, and many of if you are scholars of English literature, I quote the poem, Ted Hughes' poem, Thought Fox. Okay, very interesting. Okay. The thought comes like a fox. Okay, it can come at any time. Okay, midnight, the author was sitting. Okay, he was just waiting. Suddenly, a thought comes like a fox. Okay, and in a blank paper, just something get printed. What happened most of the time? Okay, our brain, okay, we read a lot of things from different sources, different sharing of information from different people. We get a lot. Our brain is actually completely filled with information. What happens sometimes, you realize some thought that comes suddenly, okay, and you relish it. Wow! But what happens if you leave it? You cannot catch it. That's the reason they say during the research, you need to jot down, okay, note down. Okay? That becomes very, very important. Okay, the thoughts never, you can't. Sometimes you find. I also think that I never recall the thought that already has come in my mind. That's the reason you need to jot down some of the points that comes. That becomes a new frontier, actually, new knowledge. Okay, it just escapes from your mind. That's why author says whenever something comes, immediately catch hold of it and write it. Okay, so it becomes a thought fox. Okay, so reading becomes very, very important. Okay, so the process, when you say 3 years of time, your research is of 3 years of time, right? Now what happens in 3 years of time? So we are worried about after 3 years, what happens? It's a product. But what are you doing? Or even you write an article, it takes time. It's not that one day, one night I sit and then write an article. It takes time. So teach how to fish rather than feed you fish. Already, as Sir has already mentioned, yes. So important aspect of this process is taking notes, recollecting ideas. And please note down. And when we are doing actually MPhil, we are taught to take notes, okay, in a chart paper. You are supposed to collect from the library. We are jot down. On the other side, you need to give the bibliographic information. That becomes, it is a process. You need to continue. But today, everything is available in the net. Therefore, we don't even type. So that becomes recollecting ideas or taking notes becomes an important for the process of this research. Okay, and automatically comes product. So product is actually new improved evidence automatically comes when a purpose process is clear and we don't have worried about product. New improved analysis, new improved concepts. So we are actually most of the time worried about the product and the process. So please be worried about the process, not the product. Product comes automatically. Okay, so we need not worry about the product. We need to worry about the process. It becomes very important in the research. Okay, technique number 2. Okay, I give an example of Amitav Ghosh. Okay, it's from the point of view literature. If there are other scholars and educators, please understand me because I have taken from literature. Maybe I can just correlate with this. Say, take in Amita Ghosh. He's a well-known author. Of course, he has got fiction, poetry, and drama. Literature, when you're talking about, is a diasporic literature. You can talk about his critical idea about gender, caste consciousness, or what happens. You are actually exploring nowadays. I find Manju Kapoor, okay, another. I find some hundreds and hundreds of theses written on this. But the same thing happened again and again. What happens when a well-known author, it becomes, so we need to choose a less explored author's literature ideas, less explored. Okay, so therefore we have very little idea about it. Okay, so that we can just expand. Okay, we know everything about Amita Ghosh, but what is the use of having again and again research on this? Okay, so that becomes very, very difficult. So one technique that we can use is, whether it's arts and humanities or whether it's science subjects, okay, we need to look for scope for further research. Every research gives scope for further research. Okay, so you need to look for the scope for further research, and then you can just explore. This is another technique that we can use in research. Okay, very, very, very simple. Then thirdly, find technique 3. Of course, Sarah has already explained to you how to choose a topic. Okay, now I just give you from the point of view of literature. Suppose you take post-colonialism, Amita Ghosh, or Jhumpa Lahiri, Anita Desai, Salman Rushdie. Post-colonialism is a very, very general topic. Or spirituality in Aurobindo or Paulo Coelho. This also many research has been done. Feminism, of course, Sarah has already mentioned feminism. And Shashi Deshpande, Manju Kapoor, Bharati Mukherjee. Oh, but by doing research, are we adding to what scholars already know about these things? So my question comes there, do we add something new that is already done? Or it's obviously well known. Okay, so therefore you may earn a degree, but it not prove that you have done a research. Okay, so I have a degree, PhD degree. I just raise my collar and say, oh, I have a degree. But whether I have done a real research, because it's very general. Therefore, choosing topic also very, very important in doing research. Okay, and then they say choosing a topic, you need to follow 2 kinds of methods. One is inductive and is deductive. Okay, I give an example. Okay, so what is inductive? Inductive is actually from a specific or particular to generalized knowledge or theoretical knowledge. We have a specific particular knowledge and moving towards generalized knowledge. Whereas deductive, from generalization to a particular or specific. Okay, these 2 ways you just use. For example, when you make a hypothesis, representation of femininity in the post-independence Indian novels in English. This is the title. Okay, the hypothesis framed is representation of femininity in the post-independent Indian novels in English differs significantly from the representation of femininity in the pre-independence Indian English novels. Now, what happens when you frame a hypothesis? That shift occurs because of the historical reasons. This becomes the deductive because you say from post-independence and pre-independence. Same thing happens to archetypal patterns of post-90s. These are post-90s, you should know 90s, what happened in the 90s. Okay, so it becomes an inductive method to make sure that, oh yes, what happens in 90s, and then so that you talk about post 90s. Okay, so this becomes very, very important, choosing a topic, inductive and deductive methods. Technique number 4. When you're doing research, okay, search strategy is very important. I always find it very interesting, very easy. Drafting outlines. We read a lot of things, but we don't even note down. Okay, reading, we do before starting. We have hundreds of articles, research works, we read. When you read, okay, if you have chosen a topic, generally a tentative title or topic you have chosen, please make sure that you draft an outline. Okay, just without making it a very logical sequence, we can just make it as, I will give an example. Okay, water in the context of Tamil Nadu. Okay. Water in the context of Tamil Nadu. This is a simple example. I say water, okay, 2.1 I say, this is called outlining, okay. Simple outlining, later you can change it, but we need an outline so that research can be done. Even if we read 3 pages, you can just add this outline, okay. Even if you write 3 pages of article, please make sure that you write. So later you can remove the topics, but the sequence will come automatically, okay. So water. So number one is water scenario. And secondly, overview of Tamil Nadu. Then you can goes on. Okay, you can just put climate, agro, climatic zone, or economy, say agriculture, or demography, governance, all kinds of things. So this becomes an outline. So this is another technique that research can be done. Outline is very, very important so that our thoughts are actually oriented towards a particular topic. Okay. This is technique number 5. Today we use, most of the time we don't even write, okay, but we use computer, laptop to type. Easy method of keeping these materials is, okay, you gather materials, resources, either through primary or secondary. Yes. Kindly mute your kindly mute your audio.
बाबा मारेगा थोड़ी चार्ज कुछ नहीं करना इस डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाएगा Are you fine?
Hello, kindly mute your audio. Is my voice clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Somebody has unmuted audio.
शीजा बाबा की हेल्प नहीं करोगे हाँ
Shall I continue?
शीजा
I request the organizers to mute her, please.
अपनी बाबा की हेल्प नहीं करोगे
Abdullah Sheikh, kindly.
करो टैब ऑन शीजा
Sir, she is not here. Organizers, please mute her.
समरा करो टैब ऑन
Say, request the organizers to kindly. Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. So continue. Technique number 5, we gather a lot of materials, okay, either from the library or from other internet sources. But many times we forget to write the sources that we have taken from. Then once again we have to search for it, and very difficult to find it. I find the easy method of choosing is you say Control Shift F, okay, in your laptop. You can save it as a footnote. Then later you can remove. Of course, footnote system is not used today in arts and science, arts and humanities. Of course, the other commerce and other persons, they use it. Okay, if you don't want it, you can just remove it. Okay, but then for the sake of keeping the record, I think we can keep it. Okay, so this bibliographical information becomes a very important aspect, so that you not even search for it. Okay, so it becomes very, very important. Technique 5. Okay, Control Shift F. So that becomes a footnote system. Okay, keeping it so that you don't get lost with the information. Okay. So research area, research questions, research topic, research outline. This is what we are just saying. Okay, research area we have chosen, research questions you have framed, research topic you have chosen, and research outlines we have made, and the list of resources. Okay, so you have just collected from this, based on this. So real work of reading, understanding, and writing comes only afterwards. Okay, so we start reading, and then slowly we understand different angles we understand, then start writing. Okay, therefore make sure that there is enough authoritative information on your topic. So it becomes, when you do a research, okay, especially for PhD or long research, there must be an authoritative information on topic. Otherwise it becomes too personal. It doesn't become a research. It becomes a personal sharing of a particular topic. Therefore authoritative information on your topic is very, very relevant. That's why we need to read, find out. Okay, so save your time and decrease your stress level if you don't wait until last minute to look at the books and articles you want to use it. Okay, so till the last moment we wait, and then last minute we collect all kinds of information from the library, and the stress level increases. Therefore we need to start from the beginning. Okay, choosing of this. So as you look at your books and articles, make sure you note all the information that you need to create a bibliography information of paper. Okay, at least you take Xerox, on the top of your Xerox papers, you have to note down all the bibliographical information. Okay, otherwise you will be wasting time in searching once again. Okay, if you are using a computer, of course, use the footnote system. Okay, and you can just remove the footnotes at the end of the research. Okay. Techniques number 6: use simple language style. Okay, Simple language style. For example, Mom, I'm hungry. This is a simple language. Now, Shakespearean language, if you use it, let it be known to the birth giver that the stomach consists of nothing or emptiness. Okay. So now who understands this? Who needs this new knowledge? Okay. Therefore, the language should be very simple. Okay. You need not, sometimes you find one full paragraph goes with one full sentence. Okay. Unless you make clear comma or full stop, it becomes very difficult for the readers to understand. Okay. So it's not that actually we are creating a kind of knowledge that nobody follows it. It should be very simple so that people follow it. Okay. So this becomes very using a simple language styles. You just take science or humanities. Using a simple language style makes your research worth. Technique number 7, use time frame. Of course, today most of the universities have framed the time because students and scholars, they wait till the last minute and then submit. Okay, it becomes a tends to phase in the last, right? And the third year, end of third year, or sometimes you find 6 years they take. At the end of the 6th year, they'll be rushing. Now the universities, most of the universities made it that every 6 months you need to submit a report. Okay, that becomes because of this, and the university is actually coming with the rules and regulations. But for us, as general, we use time frame. Okay, now most of these are written at the 11th hour. Okay, most of these are research 11th hour. We need to submit because we are just writing it. Okay, our last 6 months or 3 months. Okay, now why the outline? You remember this outline we have created? Actually, that's a step. Okay, so that you just go slow by one by one and then start exploring it. Okay, as you read, you just fit in. Okay, so that finally you can, it comes to 300 to 400 pages. Now you just start analyzing it. Okay, so this actually very, very important. Time frame is very, very important. Okay, if you don't, even if you write 3 pages of article, you need time frame. Okay, if you, it is said, as someone has really said, okay, if you don't fix a time, okay, your mind operates with a relaxed frame of mind. Okay, what happens is, so you take 3 months are there. Okay, let it wait. So it will not work out. But our mind works in pressure. Indian mind works in pressure. That's why they say most of the time when you go to foreign countries, our Indians, okay, work. If you are given a work for 8 hours, they finish within 4 hours. Okay, the rest of the 4 hours they search for other jobs. Whereas European mind is that they have to work 8 hours. Okay, they distribute the work 8 hours, and then a mind is relaxed. So ours is we have to finish fast, and 4 hours we do not know what to do. So this is also, that's why you need to frame. Outline is very, very important. The time frame you need to do that. Even if it is 2 pages of writing, when the time frame is there, the mind gets, you get pressure of the mind and then works faster so that you can come up with a good research article. Technique number 8. We need to evaluate. Already Cyrus explained to you. Okay, we need to evaluate for relevance, reliability, right, okay, authority, okay, or accuracy, okay, or point of view. So this is what comes as a plagiarism. Okay, today it's very important that, of course, that should be below 10, okay, percentage of plagiarism. Okay, now if you want to have others' point of view after writing an article, you need to share with your scholars or guide and discuss. Okay, and this I don't think anywhere it happens except for the guide that discusses with the scholars. Okay, we need, even your friends, you just send them. So there may be, okay, some views that you don't even see it, others can see it. Okay, so this becomes another important aspects of the research. Therefore, once again, they become 3 P's in research writing: posing, that means already you are saying what to study; probing, that means how to study; and then persuading, why to study. Okay, so this becomes very important in research. Okay, so therefore, in research in 21st century, okay, research in 21st century, I just precisely speak about research in 21st century. We need to develop ability. Okay, from acquiring skills to mastering skills. Okay, we so far acquired skills, but we need to master the skills. Okay, that's why they say learning to learn, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to become. So there comes actually critical thinking, creativity, innovations. Therefore, we use the term developing ability. Okay, research is actually developing ability. Second is very important, knowledge creation. This calls constructivism. Okay, new education policy speaks about so much about this constructivism, knowledge creation. That's why European countries or America looks down upon India regarding the research, because we are actually a knowledge absorbing society. Okay, so you remember 1 to 12th standard, we have a lot of knowledge we absorbed. Okay, but to produce knowledge, okay, how much we have produced knowledge creations. So you find here and there 1 or 2 that they have created, even in graduations, post graduations, all kinds of research. So our society is actually knowledge absorbing society, and therefore we need to become a knowledge generating society. Okay, we need to generate new knowledge. That's why research becomes very important. Okay, so demonstration of my knowledge, I need to demonstrate. Otherwise, what is use of having? So that becomes a very practical, outcome based. Today, all the syllabus is supposed to be outcome based. If I teach, what is the outcome? So after one semester, I have taken some 60 hours. Okay, after 60 hours, what's the outcome of my teaching? So it has to be proved. Okay, otherwise that becomes knowledge creations. Okay, constructivism they call it. And thirdly, it becomes very important. 21st century research is a global competency. Today, almost most of the universities have, say you have to publish in Scopus Index or H-Index journals. Okay, so it becomes very difficult. Of course, money has been involved. So much of money you have to pay. So because of the global competency. So you need to actually publish your papers and everybody can read. Earlier it was there, nobody reads it because it is just closed circle. Now it's of course available in a open portal. So from working harder, we need to become working smarter. Okay, that's why global competency. Okay, so we are actually, we work hard, but today in 21st century, we need to be very smart. Okay, and therefore concentrate, understand, practice, and compete. So this becomes core words that we need to adapt every day. Concentrate, understand, practice, and compete. So this becomes global competency. So 21st century researchers supposed to be thinkers, constructive thinkers, not ordinary thinkers. We need to be constructive thinkers. Secondly, not participants. Most of the time it's like a classroom. Okay, I teach, you listen. That's all. What happens? I did not know the outcome of my teaching. Unless you ask questions, clarifications, I never know what happens actually. So most of the classrooms are participants. That today what 21st century research our students need is actually creative participation. Okay, that means give and take policy has to be there. Okay. Thirdly, individual supposed to be self-directed. Okay, I need to self-direct myself. Otherwise, it's not going to be helpful. Of course, my contributions, we need to be contributors for a nation building. Okay, so my research is supposed to help. That's what at the beginning he says, something to my knowledge or to also my surrounding, something of help. Okay. Otherwise, we just remain as mere writers, contributors. And then next is producers. This is actually new frontiers and new knowledge. Okay, we need to be producers. Okay, and best able 21st century research is actually we need to communicate. Okay, not orally but also in writing level. We need to communicate efficiently and effectively. Okay, so we have only few writers, right? Countable number of writers. Okay, but we have so much of knowledge. Okay, so we need to communicate efficiently and effectively, and therefore we become a persons of all-round development. So that becomes actually research. Therefore, I end with this. You should know your existing literature well in order for your research to be innovative and exciting. The existing literature, you should know. That's why we read and read. Okay. So that we become innovative and exciting. As I quote from T.S. Eliot, time present and time past are both perhaps present in the time future. And the time future is contained in the time past. Completely interrelated. Therefore, the past is never dead. It lives in the present. Past helps us to understand the present, and the present throws light upon the past. So that's why it becomes innovative and exciting. Okay. So some of the things you can read about stages and activities approach to 3 Ps regarding research. Also, you find one of the excellent work, Extended Writing Research Skills. It's a course book in English for academic studies. Also, you find Beginner's Guide to Doing Research in English Studies in India Today. For the reference, you can just go through this. Okay. So that's how I come to the end of this. Okay. Hope I have made something, that's helpful to you. Okay. So I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity. If you have any questions and clarifications, kindly note on this. I finish with this. Thank you so much. Hi, hello. You're silent.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. If you have no questions, we'll go to the next session.
I don't think there will be any questions because your session was so informative and very meticulously you explained all in detail.
Thank you, sir. There is time end of you. Yes, we can go to the next session. Thank you so much.